Hello, it's Collette from the Sacred Rose Temple. I am here with your energy update for this week, which is the 14th of October, the week commencing the 14th of October. And we have found ourselves, really still streaming and reeling from all that's passed in the shadow of the eclipses and now coming up to a full moon this Thursday on the 17th. And that is really making us kind of still be in the same energy. There is a lot of shifting, there is a lot of healing going on, there is a lot of that shadowy stuff that has shown itself to you that is beginning to move away because it's got your attention. You have managed to see what wanted to change for you and what was inside you that was traumatic and wounded and really wanting to shift. And actually, the more we felt that, the more shadow, the more pain, the more trauma, the more we've shifted. And that's always what this is about, this work. We want to stay in an alignment of good all the time. And I actually taught a class on that this morning in my yoga community, in that, honoring the good and the bad and the opposites that live within us and outside of us. That sometimes in the want and the search of only what's good, we really miss the opportunity to shift the what's bad. And you can only suppress that stuff for so long until actually you become ill in your body. Or secondly, life becomes really, really difficult and these things blow up in your face. So there is no ignoring the bad. There is only bringing it to light so that you can change it, so that it can come to bring spaciousness for light to come in. And we find ourselves planetary wise in what we call a cardinal cross, where four planets like oppose each other. I really symbolically like to work with the symbol of the cardinal cross. It reminds me a lot of, the Celtic cross for me in my own ancestral lineage, and how the cross is the oppositions. It's the mind and the body. It's the soul. It's all the other aspects of us, the shadow and the light, the dark, the moon and the sun. It's all of those polarities. That's what happens in a cross. And what is at the center of the cross? Well, the center of the cross is you. You're the fifth element. You're the pivotal point in those contradictions or those opposites. What the Cardinal Cross will bring to us over the next week or so is a great deal of conflict. And that conflict is going to come up in our personal life. We may find that we're in conflict with another, or the conflict comes and heads towards us. And I think the key here is to have self-awareness, to be aware of what conflicts are showing between you and another, and what that's teaching you, and how that's asking you to actually stay out of standoff confrontation. This is going to be pretty prickly for us, in that we're triggered, and we're going to feel like a sense of attack, really, almost. But the attack is asking us to realize there's a war. We're always wanting to take sides, aren't we? That's basic human nature in a war situation. I watched a video the other day of like a certain politician talking about, what side are you on, Russia or Ukraine? And this person was like, neither. I'm in the middle. I don't believe in death and killing. And it was kind of a hard concept for somebody to understand, because of course we're always on one side, aren't we? We watch all the myth and we're always on the side of the gods or the side of the minions, or we're on the side of, the goodies or the baddies or whatever we're on. We always take a side. But what if we didn't take a side? What if we stood right in the center of those four cardinal points that are coming up at the minute of the cardinal cross, and anchored ourselves right in the middle, that is also screaming the transcendent function, that's also screaming that fifth other option that you don't know about yet. And so I can kind of line up four oppositions in my life at the moment. What are the opposing forces that are showing themselves in my life? What are the opposing feelings? What are the contradictions in those? So, for example, it might be, say, you're going to move home and you're like, well, I don't want to move home because I'm comfortable here. And then the other side is, well, I could have new opportunities somewhere else. What's the other thing that is in the middle of that, that isn't that you don't have the answer for, another possibility. So what I would do over the up and coming days, I would look at yourself as the middle of this cardinal cross, as the fifth that doesn't know the answer. And I would put in the corner of the four cross what it is that is in opposition in your psyche or in your life at the moment. So you may have moving house, staying home, leaving partner, staying with partner. Put them in the cardinal cross and then be that fifth element that doesn't know, but you're waiting to be shown, you're waiting for the transcendent. That's going to be a pretty powerful exercise for you to do so that you can feel yourself and the sovereignty of the self and your connection with spirit. Because the fifth, don't forget, in the cardinal directions is the self and spirit. So if you place yourself there, you can allow like for a higher energy, a higher potential than yourself to come in and support you with that movement. So I'm going to underscore that and leave that there for a practice for you to do. The other thing I want you to be really aware of is just this inner conflict that manifests outside of ourselves as conflict. What is the inner conflict that's manifesting itself outside? And, there's going to be lots of frustration, feeling of frustration. There will be feelings of jealousy on you. If you feel that someone's being jealous and behaving jealously towards you, like where does that jealousy live within you? And do you find that? I always find that jealousy is superb to work with because jealousy shows us what we really want ourselves. If we're jealous of something in somebody else and we can admit that, then it gives us the ability to see what it is that we truly, truly want and what our heart and soul desires. So think about jealousy as a really good shadow work point to begin to understand what it is you want. We're always also in this cardinal cross, a place of trying to prove ourselves, of trying to kind of overcome other people to be more powerful, more clever, more pretty, more whatever it is. And it really is an energy vampire to be like that. So really try to feel where you're proving yourself to other people and where that will take energy from you so that you can't work on yourself to self-improve for you. Where you're trying to be a better lover, but not a lover of the self, where you're trying to be a better parent, but not parenting yourself. Like all of those functions float back into us to ask us to bring in more love to ourselves. I always feel where the power dynamic is, as Jung's taught me, that where there's power, there's no love. Power is the opposition and the devoid of love. And so I'm going to stop overpowering. I'm going to come inward and I'm going to come into a place of more self-love. And I can reflect that outside of myself then. If we do anything other than project toxicity, jealousy, or any of the harmful other things outside of ourselves, then negative energy is always something that comes back to us. It really does. It bites us on our ass. How we behave with others often comes back to the self. And we begin to notice this when we try to be kinder, nicer people, in that when we're doing things that are more loving, I don't mean nice as in being a pushover. I mean loving. And if we're doing more loving, how love comes back to us eventually, and trying to really, really see that this is really like a place in my heart. I'm feeling right now, feeling the fifth center as my heart at the moment, actually, and with all the things that I've been through and looking at this fifth center, number 5 is very powerful number for the Venus energy that we're currently into. Venus is very powerful in many of our lives at the moment, especially for me as a Taurian. Being a Taurian, I'm led by the planet Venus, and I really feel that place of, beauty, love, all the things that she is standing for, sensuality, beauty. And that for me is pivotal for me right now. Like I want to, amongst all of what is happening on this transformational plane, in this transformational, spiky, conflicting energy, hold that fifth point of love and heart and Venus energy. And that's very asking of me to be very feminine, to stand in my feminine standpoint. And that's unusual for me being a highly animus driven woman to be in this soft place of vulnerability. But I am aware with all the work I've done on myself with the Jungian work within the past 5 years that that's my transcendent code is to be more feminine. So feeling for you all the number five and how that might show itself over this week for you. What is number five showing? It's feminine, it's the heart, it's the rose, it's a gate that closes or opens. What else does five mean to you? That will reveal itself symbolically, maybe in sacred symbolism and shapes or in dreams or just number five coming onto your clock or, all those other ways you see. Yes, 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 as a little nod from the goddess or creator. So I'm going to leave it there for now. There's probably more I will post about on my in my private groups. I own a couple of groups called the Sacred Rose Temple, which is on Facebook. I own a very large group called the Women Who Runs with Wolves, which is women's work from a psychoanalytical lens, and my own private and personal containers with individuals where I work individually on all of these things, including current energies and coming into the feminine mysteries, the womb, sacred sexuality, and druidry. So, looking forward to hearing your experiences of this week, the Cardinal cross, the Venus energy, the number five, and transcending your current state to a new state. So, blessings and love to you all. See you all again soon.